The tire shop is counting on one thing, that you will walk in, point at a name you recognize, and hand over your money without asking a single question. 10 brands on that same rack are built by the same engineers, in the same factories, using the same compounds as the tires, costing you twice the price. The difference is a label. By the end of this video, you will know all 10, who is behind each one, and exactly how much you have been overpaying. General Tire. Most drivers treat General like the bargain bin, the tire you settle for when the budget runs out before you reach the name you actually wanted. The shelf does not bother to correct that impression. Here is what it is not telling you. General is owned by Continental, not inspired by Continental, not affiliated with Continental, owned outright by Continental, the German engineering company that supplies tires direct from the factory to Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW, one of the 5 largest tire manufacturers in the world. General started in Akron, Ohio in 1915. Continental bought it in the late 1980s and slotted it directly below the premium Continental brand. What General receives is what the industry openly calls hand-me-down Continental technology. That sounds like a step down. It is not. Continental develops a compound, runs it on premium tires for years, pays off every dollar of development cost, then passes that proven technology down to General. You are not getting experimental rubber. You are getting validated rubber that Continental already staked its premium name on, at a discount because someone else paid for the research. Here's the proof. The General Altimax RT45, in a common full-size sedan size, runs about $88 per tire and carries a 75,000-mile tread warranty. The Continental True Contact Tour, same design lineage, same compound pipeline, runs about $105 in the same size. That is $17 per tire, nearly $70 on a full set of 4. The drivers who know this buy General and tell their friends they got Continental technology, because they did. Cooper. Cooper is the brand your grandfather trusted. It has been building tires in Ohio since 1914, and most drivers assume it is still the same scrappy independent it always was. They are about 5 years behind on the news. In 2021, Goodyear bought Cooper for $2.5 billion. That is the part almost nobody has connected. Cooper now sits inside Goodyear, one of the original American Big Three, with global manufacturing infrastructure, materials research labs, and compound technology built across more than 100 years of American tire making. Goodyear kept Cooper running as its own standalone value brand instead of folding it into the main line. The result? You get a tire backed by Goodyear's complete engineering and manufacturing muscle, still priced the way Cooper always was. Here is the proof. A Goodyear Assurance, weather ready, in a common sedan size, runs about $132 per tire. The closest Cooper equivalent runs about $108. Across the full Cooper lineup, it undercuts Goodyear by 15 to 25% for comparable performance. Many Cooper tires are still built in American plants. Same parent, same Big Three engineering access. A full set of Coopers saves you $80 to $100 over a set of Goodyears. This is the brand the tire shop owner puts on his own truck when nobody is watching. Hankook. Hankook gets lumped in with every other Korean import brand by American drivers who have never looked past the name. That is an expensive mistake, and the price difference at the register is what makes it expensive. Hankook is the 7th largest tire manufacturer in the world. It is an original equipment supplier to BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and Porsche, automakers whose engineering teams run tire suppliers through thousands of hours of validation before a single tire touches one of their vehicles. In 2023, Hankook was selected as the exclusive technical tire supplier for the Formula E electric racing championship. Not a branding sponsor, the partner responsible for the safety and performance of the tire under professional race conditions. This is not a budget brand offering a cheaper version of something better. It is a full premium manufacturer that American drivers have been undervaluing for years because the name did not grow up on American television. Here is the proof. The Hankook Kinergy PT All Season, in a common full-size sedan size, runs about $100 per tire. The Michelin Defender 2 in the same size runs about $155. That is $55 per tire, $220 on a full set. The Hankook Dyna Pro AT2 all-terrain truck tire runs about $120 in common light truck sizes. The BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2 runs about $160 in the same sizes. You are not settling when you buy Hankook. You are refusing to pay for 40 years of American television commercials. Mastercraft. Mastercraft is a name most drivers walk right past without a second thought. It sounds like a store brand. It has been building tires in America since 1909, and in most shops it sits at the bottom of the rack looking like the option you choose when nothing better is available. That is a completely false picture. Cooper Tire took full ownership of Mastercraft in 2014 and positioned it as Cooper's dedicated value sub-brand. Then in 2021, Goodyear acquired Cooper for $2.5 billion, which means Mastercraft now sits 2 full levels inside the Goodyear family. Cooper owns Mastercraft, and Goodyear owns Cooper. Follow that chain carefully. When you put Mastercraft tires on your truck, You are buying a tire backed by the full engineering infrastructure of Goodyear, one of the 3 largest tire companies in American history, through Cooper's century of American manufacturing experience, at a price point designed for the budget buyer. 3 layers of industrial value sitting behind one label that most drivers ignore. Here's the proof. The Mastercraft Courser AXT2 All-Terrain, in common light truck sizes, runs about $95 per tire. The BF Goodrich All-Terrain T/AKO2, which most truck owners treat as the benchmark, runs about $160 in the same sizes. That is $65 per tire. $260 on a full set of 4. For a tire with Goodyear's manufacturing infrastructure and Cooper's 100 years of American truck tire experience behind it. For the driver putting serious highway miles on a pickup, the case for paying BF Goodrich prices over Mastercraft prices is very hard to make. Falken. Falken is the name most American drivers walk right past because they cannot place it. No family history with the brand, no memory of seeing it on anything they respected. The label looks like an import compromise. That read is completely wrong. Falken is owned by Sumitomo Rubber Industries, one of Japan's major industrial companies. Sumitomo holds a long-standing technical relationship with Dunlop, producing and distributing Dunlop tires across multiple major markets under a licensing agreement. That gives Falken direct access to over a century of Dunlop compound engineering. That technical DNA flows straight into the Falken product line. Here's the proof. The Falken Azenis FK510 Summer Performance tire, in a common sport sedan size, runs about $110 per tire. The Michelin Pilot Sport 4S in the same size runs about $175. That is $65 per tire. $260 on a full set. In independent European tests, the Azenis FK510 consistently finishes in the upper performance tier, close enough to the top premium options that most drivers on public roads would never feel the difference. For truck buyers, the Falken Wildpeak AT3W All-Terrain runs $30 to $40 less per tire than the BF Goodrich KO2, carries a mountain snowflake rating for severe winter traction, and has earned a loyal following in the truck community for real-world performance. Not marketing, the road. Before we continue, a quick word on how this channel operates. No tire company pays us, no brand deals, no sponsorships, no affiliate arrangement that changes what gets said. Every brand on this list earned its spot by surviving the same 4 checks I will walk you through at the end of this video. Those checks are the filter. The brands that pass the filter make the list. If that is useful to you, hit subscribe. Kumho. Kumho has a reputation problem in America that has nothing to do with the tires it actually builds for drivers who choose them. When a Hyundai or Kia rolls off the assembly line with Kumho tires that wear out fast and roar on the highway, the buyer blames the brand. What they do not understand is that factory tires are engineered to an automaker's cost target, not to the specification Kumho designs for the replacement market. Judging Kumho by those tires is like judging a restaurant by the food they produce for an airline catering contract. Here's who actually relies on Kumho. Founded in South Korea in 1960, Kumho is the 9th largest tire manufacturer in the world and an original equipment supplier to BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi. Those automakers put every tire supplier through rigorous validation, wet braking, dry handling, wear, high-speed stability, before a single tire ships on one of their vehicles. Kumho earns those contracts repeatedly. Here is the proof. The Kumho Solus HA31 All-Weather, in a common midsize sedan size, runs about $85 per tire. The comparable Michelin Defender T plus H runs about $145. That is $60 per tire, $240 on a full set. In 2024, Kumho's summer performance line took top marks in European tests run by ADAC and AutoBuild, 2 of the most credible automotive testing organizations in Europe, beating brands that cost a third more. You are buying the engineering that earned a BMW contract. Minus the badge, Nokian. Nokian is Finnish, and for most American drivers, that will not mean much. For drivers in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, upstate New York, anywhere that gets real winter between November and March, it should mean everything. Nokian Tires was founded in Nokia, Finland, in 1932. Finland does not have mild winters. Months of ice, packed snow, road surfaces that would be declared emergencies in most American states. Nokian has been engineering tires for those exact conditions for over 90 years. The dedicated winter tire, not an all-season with a snowflake stamped on it, but a tire designed from the ground up for ice and packed snow, exists largely because of what Nokian built and proved over decades of Finnish winters. Nokian built the world's first dedicated winter tire. It holds more cold weather tire patents than any manufacturer on Earth. It operates a proving ground inside the Arctic Circle, testing compounds on actual ice under the harshest conditions available anywhere on the planet. Here is the proof. The Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 winter tire, in a common full-size sedan size, runs about $130 per tire. The Michelin X-Ice Snow in the same size runs about $165. That is $35 per tire. $140 on a full set, for what is arguably the more purpose-built, more proven winter product, built by the company that invented the category, with an American manufacturing plant in Dayton, Tennessee, opened in 2019. If you live somewhere that gets real winter, Nokian is not the overlooked choice. It is the correct one. Nexen. Nexen is a South Korean manufacturer that most American drivers have never encountered, which is worth examining because it has been supplying original equipment tires to Hyundai, Kia, and multiple European manufacturers for years. OEM contracts are not given as a favor. When an automaker's procurement team selects a tire supplier, those tires go through the full validation process: wet and dry braking, lane change stability, noise levels, tread endurance under sustained load. Nexen passes that process consistently on vehicles sold into competitive markets where a tire failure is a recall and a brand crisis. Nexen has also invested in a proving ground in Germany, the kind of high-speed and cold-weather test facility the premium brands use to develop and validate compounds for demanding European roads. Here is the proof. The Nexen Enprise AH8 All-Season, in a common mid-size sedan size, runs about $80 per tire. The comparable Michelin Defender T+H runs about $145. That is $65 per tire. $260 on a full set for a tire carrying OEM contracts and European test credentials. The Nexen Roadian HTX2 highway terrain truck tire runs $40 to $50 less per tire than the Michelin LTXM/S2 in the same light truck sizes, with long treadwear ratings and a smooth, quiet highway ride that earns consistent praise from pickup owners. You are not gambling when you buy Nexen. You are buying a tire that survived the same tests an automaker required. Laufenn. Most drivers have never heard the name. It sounds foreign and unfamiliar. It sits on the bottom shelf, and the salesman steers you right past it towards something with a logo you recognize. What that salesman knows, and is counting on you not knowing, is exactly where Laufenn comes from. Laufenn is the value brand of Hankook, the 7th largest tire manufacturer on Earth, the same Hankook that supplies original equipment tires to BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi. Hankook launched Laufenn in 2014 as a second nameplate to compete in the budget market without putting the premium Hankook name on a cheaper product. Laufenn tires are developed at Hankook's technical center in Germany and built in the same Hankook factories as the premium lines. Same engineering, same factories. Different sticker? Here is the proof. The Laufenn X-Fit HP in a common SUV size runs about $164 per tire. The Hankook Dynapro HP2 in the same size, same maker, same plant, runs about $203. That is $39 for tire, $156 on a full set. The Laufenn G-Fit EQ Plus All-Season in a standard sedan size runs about $120. The equivalent Hankook Kinergy runs about $165, $45 per tire, $180 per set. The drivers who know this buy Laufenn every time and pocket the difference. Sailun. This one is different from every brand on this list, and I will be straight with you about why, because honesty is the only thing that makes this channel worth coming back to. Sailun has no Michelin behind it, no Continental, no Goodyear. It is an independent Chinese manufacturer founded just over 20 years ago, and it has been upfront about being a value brand rather than chasing a premium image it has not earned. That lack of pedigree is real. You will find owner reviews where certain Sailun models were faster than their rating suggested, or got noisy near the end of their tread life. Those complaints are fair. Going in without knowing them would be a mistake. But here's the other side of the trade. Sailun has invested seriously in modern compound research over the past decade, and it now prices its tires at roughly half of a comparable premium option while delivering performance that consistently surprises drivers who expected junk. Here is the proof. The Sailun Atrezzo Elite Touring tire in a common sedan size runs about $60 per tire with a 40,000-mile tread warranty. The comparable Michelin Defender runs about $140, that is $80 per tire, $320 on a full set. The Sailun Terramax AT truck tire has earned a real following among pickup drivers who went in skeptical and got dependable traction instead of the problems they braced for. Sailun is the right call when you have run the 4 checks, the numbers hold up, and you understand what you are trading. Not a desperate move, a calculated one. How the tire industry keeps this hidden. Now that you have seen all 10 brands, it is worth spending 2 minutes understanding why you have never heard most of them, because the answer explains every tire purchase you have ever made. The tire industry runs on a tiered brand structure that every major manufacturer uses deliberately. Michelin owns BF Goodrich and Uniroyal. Goodyear owns Cooper and Mastercraft and Kelly. Continental owns General and Barham and Viking. Sumitomo owns Falken and Dunlop. Hankook owns Laufenn. The premium label captures the buyer who wants to feel confident in a name they recognize. The value label captures the buyer watching the budget. Same engineering pipeline in most cases. Different profit margin every time. This is not new. Automakers ran the same playbook for most of the 20th century. General Motors sold the same chassis under Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac at 5 different price points for decades. The Cadillac buyer paid more for the badge and the trim. The Chevy buyer drove away on the same frame. Tire companies learned from that and applied it to a product that every driver has to replace every 4 to 6 years for their entire driving life. The distribution model reinforces it. A tire shop earns its margin on what it can sell at the highest price to a driver who trusts the recommendation. When you walk in saying Michelin, they sell you Michelin. When you walk in saying whatever is best, they sell you whatever carries the best margin that week. The salesman is not deceiving you. He is giving you what you already decided you wanted before you walked through the door. The decision was made before you ever sat down. The information gap made it for you. Here's the part worth understanding about how the premium price gets built. Michelin has been advertising to American consumers since the 1970s. That advertising budget, television commercials, NASCAR sponsorships, branded service center networks, print campaigns across 50 years, is not a separate line item that disappears when you buy the tire. It is baked into the price of every single unit they sell. When you pay a Michelin premium, part of what you are paying for is the cost of convincing you that you needed to pay a Michelin premium. That is a real cost. It is just not a cost that improves the rubber on your wheel. Closing that information gap changes every tire purchase from here forward. Here's what it looks like in real numbers over a lifetime. The average American driver buys a new set of tires every 4 to 6 years. Over a 40-year driving career, that is 6 to 10 full sets. If you save an average of $150 per set by choosing the right value brand over the premium equivalent, and based on the comparisons in this video, $150 is conservative. That is $900 to $1,500 over a lifetime of tire purchases. Money that stayed in your pocket because you took 20 minutes to understand how the industry is structured. That is what knowing this list is worth, 10 brands at a glance. Here is every brand from this video in one place. Reference this the next time you are standing in a tire shop. General Tire, owned by Continental, operates on proven Continental compound technology that Continental already paid to develop. 75,000-mile warranty on the flagship all season. Savings versus Continental equivalent, $15 to $20 per tire, $60 to $80 per set. Cooper, owned by Goodyear since 2021, undercuts Goodyear's own lineup by 15 to 25% across the board, still built in American manufacturing plants. Savings versus Goodyear equivalent, $20 to $30 per tire, $80 to $120 per set. Hankook, 7th largest manufacturer in the world, Formula E exclusive technical supplier, OEM to BMW and Porsche and Mercedes-Benz, engineering center in Hanover, Germany. Savings versus Michelin equivalent, $50 to $60 per tire, $200 to $240 per set. Mastercraft, owned by Cooper, which is owned by Goodyear, American manufacturing since 1909, built primarily for trucks and SUVs. Savings versus BF Goodrich equivalent, $60 to $70 per tire, $240 to $280 per set. Falken, owned by Sumitomo, Dunlop Technical DNA, mountain snowflake rating on the Wild Peak AT3W upper tier European performance test results. Savings versus Michelin equivalent, $60 to $70 per tire, $240 to $280 per set. Kumho, founded 1960, 9th largest tire maker in the world, OEM to BMW and Mercedes-Benz and Audi, top marks in 2024 European summer performance tests. Savings versus Michelin equivalent, $55 to $65 per tire, $220 to $260 per set. Nokian, Finnish, founded 1932, invented the dedicated winter tire category, more cold weather patents than any manufacturer on Earth, American plant in Dayton, Tennessee. Savings versus Michelin, winter equivalent, $30 to $40 per tire, $120 to $160 per set. Nexen, South Korean, OEM supplier to Hyundai and Kia and multiple European manufacturers. High-speed proving ground in Germany. Savings versus Michelin equivalent, $60 to $65 per tire, $240 to $260 per set. Laufenn, owned by Hankook. Built in the same Hankook factories as the premium line, developed at Hankook's German Technical Center. Savings versus Hankook equivalent, $35 to $45 per tire, $140 to $180 per set. Sailun, independent manufacturer, no premium parent company, real performance at roughly half the price of comparable premium options. Run the 4 checks hard before buying. Savings versus Michelin equivalent, $75 to $85 per tire, $300 to $340 per set. Print that list. Take it to the shop. The man behind the counter already uses this information to buy his own tires. Now you are buying yours the same way. The 4 checks. Run these before you buy any tire. Not every cheap tire is a gold mine. Some are junk, and they sit on the same shelf as the brands on this list. The difference is visible right on the sidewall before you open your wallet. These 4 checks take less than 5 minutes in the shop. Run them on every tire, every time, without exception. The treadwear rating. Stamped on the sidewall, required by the federal government on every tire sold in America under the UTQG system. Uniform tire quality grading. Around 300 means standard all-season life for normal driving. 500 or higher means long wearing, the kind of tire that holds up across years of highway miles. A cheap tire hiding a number below 200 wears out fast regardless of price or what the salesman says. The sticker looks good, the cost per mile does not. Find that number before anything else. The speed and load rating, the letter and number stamped right after the tire size. Open your driver's door. Look at the sticker on the door jamb. It tells you the exact load rating your vehicle requires. A tire rated below that number is not a bargain. It is a structural safety problem and a legal liability if something goes wrong on the road. Match or exceed that number every time. No exceptions, no negotiations. This check takes 30 seconds and separates a smart budget buy from a dangerous one. Find out who actually makes it. The most important check on this list, and almost nobody does it. Many tire brands are owned by larger parent companies. Hankook owns Laufenn, Continental owns General, Goodyear owns Cooper, Sumitomo owns Falken. When you know who the real manufacturer is, you know whether the engineering behind the label is serious. No traceable parent company, no identifiable factory. That is where the true junk lives. A quick search on your phone before you sign anything takes 2 minutes and can save you hundreds of dollars and a roadside failure. The date code. Find the letters DOT stamped on the sidewall. At the very end of that string are 4 digits. The first 2 are the week the tire was built. The last 2 are the year. A tire built in the 32nd week of 2022 reads 3222. A tire built in the 4th week of 2019 reads 0419. Rubber degrades on the shelf through temperature cycling, oxidation, and UV exposure even before the tire turns a mile. A tire that sat in a warehouse for 3 years before you bought it is already aging on the inside where you cannot see it. Anything over 3 years old at the time of purchase is old stock at a discount. Walk away? The savings are not worth buying rubber that has already started breaking down. Run those 4 checks. Know the 10 brands. Keep the money. That is the list. 10 brands. 10 companies with real engineering and real manufacturing behind them. 10 price tags built entirely on how familiar the name sounds to a driver who has not done this research. The tire industry operates on the gap between what a tire costs to produce and what a driver will pay for a name they have seen in commercials since the 1970s. That gap is real, it is consistently large, and it comes directly out of your pocket on every set you have ever bought. You now know which brands are on the right side of that gap. You know who owns whom. You know how to read the sidewall. You know the 4 checks that separate a gold mine from a gamble. The next time you walk into a tire shop, you are walking in as the most informed person in the building. Use it. If this video saved you money, hit subscribe. Drop your vehicle and your tire questions in the comments below. Make, model, how you use it, what you have been running, and we will point you to the right option from this list. We read every comment and we respond to the ones that help the most people. See you in the next one.